Hi everyone, how you guys doing today? My name is Jacob and I'm going to show you a little bit of the budget simulator that I built in my garage. First to start with, I don't know if it was completely budget. It was just kind of on a whim one night when I probably drank a little too much. And I could have definitely done it cheaper going back in time, but I mean, if how it turned out, not terrible. Could it be better? Yes. And I'm going to share with you, I've had it for probably about a month now, some of my experiences and what I wish I would have done differently. So yeah, let's get right into it. So to start with, I have a two-car garage. The ceilings are about 10 feet tall, so we have good distance. And for reference, I'm 6'2". The only problem with the ceilings, which I can't get around because I don't live here, is the ceiling track, or excuse me, the garage track. So this is the biggest problem right here, is the garage box. So how I had to have it set up is my mat's there, and this is the best way I found of doing it. So my wife, she can still park in here, and I can still park in here if I want to, but so if I'm standing here, there's the net, and I have that. And the longest club I can swing in here is my 5-iron. I probably could get away with like a 3-wood, maybe. I would just really have to choke down on it, but it's still a good distance away. It's just something I'm not comfortable with. And along with, you know, the track itself, I can swing the 5-iron as hard as I want to in here and not have to worry about that. The only problem is I am in Georgia and it is, you know, middle of summer. It gets very hot, and the garage about right to that bar right there is probably as far as I can open it. So there's really not much of the air circulation, and it does get hot. I have tried having it open, but from that, you know, the 10-foot ceiling, I'm losing probably, you know, 2 to 3 feet right there, that it's not even possible really for me to hit a 60-degree. So this is what I found best is if I raise up the garage door a little bit, about to right that area, it's good. But if I did own this house, I do not own this house, I would move, you know, the actual garage door opener and have it move to, you know, how they do it on the side installs. So if that is something that's limiting you back, that is possible. I don't know what the cost is. I imagine, you know, it's probably a decent amount of money, but it would be 100% worth the experience you get and all the practice you can get just inside your garage. All right, so we'll talk distance from, so the hitting net, it's about 8 feet tall and probably 8 to 10 feet wide. I got it from Dick's Sporting Goods. It's the Max Fly. They had this deal going on, and like I said, probably wasn't in the best mind state when I decided to do this, but it turned out all right. The mat itself, or the net itself, I mean, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. There's no wear on it. They have, you know, the 4 squares. I don't really worry about that too much. It's just a nice extra like protection layer from hitting the walls. The net itself, it does pretty well. If I shank a lot of balls, and if you are someone that's not really too worried about shanking, that net right there is all you need. And then on the back side, from where the net is to the wall, that's probably a couple feet. So if you are hitting the ball a little bit harder, you know, faster swing speed, faster ball speed, it's probably getting close to touching that net. And I mean, that's probably like 4 feet. So if your garage is a little bit longer, I don't know my total distance, it'd probably work a little bit better, but then that's why I put it on the mats. So those are just the bottom panel, and then you can see how this one's lighter, and then that top row's lighter. those 3 across, and then those 4 across. Those are 1 inch thick. And then this row, the lighter color going across, those are a 1/2 inch thick. And they definitely dampen the sound and the wear and tear. And if you hit that, you can't really tell from the inside. And I did a 1/2 inch on the same side because I'm a righty. And you know what? Sometimes I do shank the ball. So I did mine 3 high with that extra one in there because I found out the hard way of why I need that there. All right, so that's the net itself with the padding. I also got from Amazon, it comes with 2 of them, is, you know, like the shank net. And this has worked pretty well, especially with the mats. Like I found if I hit that net, it's really not hitting that wall, or if it does, and with a shank, you know, it's already not very high speed. And if I was a little bit more professional, or again, own the house, I would anchor that down a little bit better on, you know, the wood panel right there, or find a better solution. But for me, what's worked is just taking my golf bag and tying it, you know, on the little loop it has right there. And it's held up pretty well, and it's definitely saved me from that ball bouncing around a little bit. But that foam, it really does stop it pretty well. Then, like I said, I bought 2 of them because I didn't really know. I pulled the ball a lot, but I don't really shank it to my left very often. So instead, what I did, I don't know, you can kind of see it right here, is I hung it up off that net. You can kind of see the V right there. And that was just another thing to kind of slow down the ball speed. And it, like I said, it's worked well. It definitely slows it down. The balls, for the most part, as you can see, they all fall down right there. And then the last step I did, which for me, I think has been the most beneficial thing from saving these walls and that light, is it's like a cargo net mesh material. And that's from Harbor Freight. The pads are from Harbor Freight. The net from Dick's Sporting Goods, and then the shank net, and then the shank net that I attach to that is from Amazon. And this thing's been great. So all I did was I took a bungee cord, 2 of them, as you can see. I had the perfect distance. I don't know how far away it is. I just kind of eyeballed it and hoped, and it worked out. Is I have a bungee cord going on to this panel for the garage door, and then above the unit itself, that one's actually zip tied because I could get it a little bit closer. So that works out. The only problem is, which it's not that big of a deal because I'd rather not shank the ball up into the ceiling, is that from the hitting mat, that once I get to a little bit of my longer irons, I do graze the top of it, but it doesn't really matter, you know? Like the net's not moving itself, it's just kind of like a feel back you get. And then I just draped it over top of the net and took some zip ties, which probably could cut, but I just zip tied it to this, and it hasn't moved at all. The only downside to this net, besides, you know, sometimes you, off the hitting mat, you kind of touch the top of it up here, but like I said, not that big of a deal, is that the balls, which I'm sure if I put some more zip ties, or I did something like cut a hole in it here or something, but sometimes when you hit a ball, it will go, here, I'll grab one, I'll show you guys real quick. If you hit a ball, especially like your wedges, it'll hit up here, it'll hit up here, and then it'll just roll right in the back. But not a big deal, but sometimes it is kind of a pain in the butt to go back there and grab them. But it's saving my ceilings, gives me more confidence to hit in here, so I'm all right with it. All right, next is the hitting mat. This was also from Dick's Sporting Goods. It is the Max Fly, some kind of net. They had a deal going on where if you bought a net or a hitting mat, you get some kind of money off on the R10 Garmin launch monitor. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. The mat itself is not terrible. As you can see, it's definitely had some wear and tear, right? I'm not a perfect ball striker, but even from this, how I had it was in front of the mat. So that's the forward divots, and it's still doing that. And then this is, you know, from the fats. So I imagine everyone, you know, a couple warm-up shots still might hit it fat. But for someone like me, would I recommend this mat? Probably not. It's like a ½ inch thick, and I'm just playing off bare concrete. I'm a little bit younger, still getting up there, my body still hurts. When you hit something off the concrete and it's not directly on that ball, it's gonna hurt a little bit, and it's definitely gonna put some, for me, where I've noticed it the most is a lot of pain in my hand, like my left hand, my bottom hand when I swing, a lot of finger pain. And I thought it was maybe because of my grips, because I had very small grips, but after thinking about it, I'm almost positive it's from this mat. So this would be my next upgrade, is getting a different mat. But for what it is and the price, like, really not bad. But I do wish, and I've seen it in many other videos of people talking about, if you're gonna buy a mat, just get one that's gonna last you and not absolutely destroy your body. And that's definitely a lesson learned from me. And I'm a little bit stubborn when it comes to that, thinking like, oh no, it's not gonna hurt me. You know what, it does. So, would I get this mat again? No. Am I glad I got it? No. Does it work? Yes. But was it a waste of money? In the long run, 100%. So what I'm gonna do next is get like a 5x5 mat that's a little bit thicker, better material, and then I'll just put this one in front of it to kind of, you know, dampen the balls and hopefully keep it in place, because this thing does, especially once you're swinging a 5-iron or you're trying to put some power into it, it does slide. Like, I don't know how well you can see that. I'm not kicking it that hard, but when you do start pivoting on there, it starts to move. All right, the next thing is the Garmin R10. This, in my opinion, this is the only launch monitor I've used. I watched a lot of reviews after buying it because, like I said, I just full sent it. I'm 100% glad I got this one. For my space, it works, and what I'm trying to do, it works. I'm not, like, people complain about like the spin rate and everything. For me, I really don't care about that. I want to know where my ball's going. Am I hooking it, pulling it? You know, did I hit a fade? Did I hit a draw? The distance, attack angle, and then it does give you some like the club data, you know, and then of course it gives you like the carry distance, you know, total rollout. It gives you everything about that. And if you guys would like, I can give you more of an in-depth review on that. But for my space and the price point, this has been absolutely amazing, especially if you're thinking about getting, you know, a setup at home. This is a great starting option. And like the resale value, it's still good, even if you do want to upgrade after a while. But for me, I'm not going to upgrade until I own my own home, and then maybe I can, you know, get like a full installation of like a projector and everything. But until then, I do not see myself moving away from this. And then I did get this stand for like 40 bucks on Amazon. This is my most recent purchase. This little stand is like 40 bucks, like I said. And you can put an alignment stick in there so you know where to put the ball on the mat. And before I was just using these foam pads over here, not the pad itself, but the little cutouts it has, and just kind of rigged it up, and I'm sure that worked, but this is definitely 10 times better because you can adjust these little screws, so then when I do get a new mat, I can raise this up and it's the same thing, and I'm 100% confident this is exactly perfect of how it is. And then if you're wondering why I had this bed sheet there, that's just because I've read that the Garmin doesn't like concrete. So I put that there because it covers up most of the concrete of where the radar is going. And I probably could, just to see what would happen, put another, bed sheet or something in this area so it doesn't see any of the concrete at all. For me, I haven't noticed a huge difference with like any misreads from the Garmin. So this is just easy enough that if I want to pull my car in here, I just roll it up and throw it inside the net. But that is why that is there. And then for the Garmin, what I use is I just link it up with an iPad that I already had. I did recently purchase Awesome Golf. I did the 2-week trial, and you have the options of Awesome Golf, E6, and whatever the Garmin golf app is, what you play in. Awesome Golf is what I saw had the best reviews. I watched a lot of videos on it before I purchased it. I did the annual, or not the annual, but the lifetime for $350, which is a little steep, but for the Garmin R10, I think this is 100% the best option because of the range. Really, the sim golf courses are not bad. I've enjoyed every time I played on it. I think this is very realistic to how I hit on the course, and it's gave me the fewest misreads. And then recently, I already had the TV and I already had the TV stand. So I just put this out here, and if I do want to pull in my car, it's very easy, just move back inside. And then I did buy, this is what you're gonna need, is some kind of connector for HDMI to your iPad. And I got that at Walmart because that was the only place that had like the lightning to HDMI. But even with just the iPad, I just had it sitting on there, that is still more than you could ever need. I would not immediately go out and buy a TV. I just was lucky enough that I had a TV that I wasn't using. So I was like, you know what? What's another 40 bucks? And then I can put it on there and get a little bit more better of experience. But if I didn't have an extra TV, I would have never have went out and bought it. I would have just went off the iPad because that's really all you need. And then I will say the last thing about the Garmin R10 and kind of the setup, I did buy this fan because like I said, in Georgia, it gets very hot. It's probably right now, it's almost 6 o'clock and it's still 91 degrees. My garage gets very, very hot. So I was like, I will buy a fan, right? Cheap fan from Walmart, put it on me when I'm hitting from there. What I didn't know is that with the Garmin, or probably all radar-based launch monitors, is that fans and wind can give you interference. So you can sit there and hit a ball 10 times, but if that fan's pointing on you and it's catching in front of, its radar system, it's going to give you interference, and it's either going to pop up on your screen, which the Garmin app did all the time, and I had no clue why. No clue why. I was like, oh man, maybe I don't have this far enough from my hitting mat, or maybe I'm hitting too close to the net. But I stumbled upon, luckily on Reddit, someone talking about it, and they said if there's wind or a fan on you, that it can throw out the radar system. So now I just plug it in and I point it up. I have no clue if it does anything, but I already bought it, so some area has to be better than no area, right? And excuse me, since I've done that, it has worked 100% of the time. I probably hit close to 1,000 balls, and since I've put the fan up and not had it directly on me, I've maybe gotten 5 misreads, and that's also probably from like 1,000 balls. So that's again why I would not get this mad again. And something I also failed to mention, so for my hitting mat to the R10, I have 6 feet. I could go a little bit further, but because my mat to the net is 10 feet, but I found 10 feet to be the sweet spot. That way I do not have to worry about damaging the garage door opener itself. Ideally, I probably would move this a little, like to 9 feet, and then I would have the Garmin at 7, but this is what I found worked best for me. All right, guys, I think that's about all I have. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, just let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to respond to anything and everything. And if you guys do want more of like the prices or links to anything from the setup, just please let me know, and thank you guys for watching.